So this is the third CD recording we've made for our recordings in which we've paired two composers. We made one with Bohuslav Martinu and the music of Frank Martin, both born in the same year, and another with the music of Ligeti and the music of Zoltan Kodai, who were born in the same country. And now we have a CD which may at first appear to link the music of two unconnected composers, Uroš Krek, Slovenian, Elsa Maria Pade, Danish. But actually there is more that links them than you might expect, because both of them had very strong links to the broadcasting organisations of their respective countries, Radio Television Slovenia, of course, in Krek's case, and in Pade's case, DR. And here we are in Studio 2, and behind us on the wall is a beautiful picture of Elsa Maria there, working at her desk. And she was a great pioneering figure in Danish music, first as a woman composer, but also then as a composer who was very closely interested in and involved with and helped to develop electronic music. And so one of the pieces that we're recording for this project is a kind of slightly crazy, she calls it a tape essay, a piece for speaking choir, baritone solo, soprano solo, 7 trombones, and electronic tape, which we've had a great deal of fun realising. And one of the interesting things about that piece is that she obviously envisioned it using sound projection and all sorts of other technical devices which had barely been invented when she wrote the piece, but which now we are able to realise through the wonders of digital recording. So I think she's quite an interesting and intriguing figure, wouldn't you say so, Martina?
I totally agree. And as a new chief conductor here in Denmark, I'm very honored and happy actually to be able to join this production with the Danish Vocal Ensemble, which is also our mission, recording some interesting music. And me as coming from Slovenia and presenting a Slovenian composer, Uroš Krek, which was born in about the same age as Elsa Maria, also connects these two personalities, these two musicianships, I would say. However, the sound and the colors and the texture of the Uroš Krek's music is slightly different, I would say more familiar to the choral a cappella music, but his musical language is extremely strong in sense of melodical lines, but also harmonic-wise. We chose some pieces that I find really important in sense of compositions, but also interesting through the perspective of the text, of the meaning. So we sang things by him in Latin, in English, in, I would say, very official Slovenian language, and also a part of Slovenian dialect language from the eastern part of Slovenia. But what connects this female and male soul on one CD, one coming from the south, the other from the north, but how they connected into the broad houses as we speak about, and the narrative of the muses and nymphs they both felt with Elsa Maria as a pioneer in electronics and Uroš Krek in inventing universes in colors in sense of the, musical ideas, is for me just, it is a joy, it is an amazing experience, and regardless all the music we know and we are overflooded with, I think that connecting north and south brings another spice to our choral world. And I'm extremely happy of another addition at this recording, that we are trying a new positions of how to record a choir. And the vocal ensemble, the amazing singers I tend to work with and share music, we sit in a circle. So also the microphones are positioned in the middle, so everyone is very much taking a big responsibility individually, but also common as a musical group that listens, shares, and enjoys singing together. So I'm very lucky, I think, to get this opportunity, and thank you, Michael, thank you, Danish Radio, and thank you to presenting this amazing project ahead of us.
We are recording this CD in 3D audio, immersive sound. The choir is put up in a circle, and the microphone array is in the middle of that circle. So the listener will have the experience of being surrounded by the singers in a fully enveloped sound. And it is extraordinary, spectacular sounding, very rich, very high detailed, and also for the choir it is inspiring because they see each other all the time, they hear each other better, so it's also performing-wise a very good solution for the musicians. So the idea is to have one microphone for each speaker in a 7.1.4 system, so that is in total 12 speakers. And the release will be available in Dolby Atmos, which is also a delivering platform that streaming services apply to. And it's even possible to have this three-dimensional experience in a virtualization on headphones. So also on headphones, via Dolby Atmos transmission, you can have this sensation of being surrounded by the singers. For the Else Marie Pade work, Maria, we are also recording the choir in a more traditional setup on 2 rows. She wrote the piece with quite specific instruction about how to pan those parts of the work, also with the solos. And at that time she had the idea about panning around in the sound field, and it was more than 40 years ago those ideas were made. And for live performances it happened quite well with different speakers, but for releases it has not been possible yet to actually accomplish those wishes. And that is also possible with the Dolby Atmos release of this recording, that we can take these spoken choir and whispered choir pieces and pan them around in the 3D sound field.
When I first got the score, I was very excited because it looked like a challenge for me that I had to do. It was it's a very active soprano part. It does a lot of has a huge vocal range, and there is this electronic tape that's in the background of the soprano solo parts, and also it has 7 or 8 trombones, I think. So it's definitely something special that is not being made every other week. It's very hard to grasp the coherency of it because it's so different, and it jumps just across the register a lot. So I called my mother and I asked her if she would like to record some of the movements for me, because I had really trouble playing it on the piano. That's kind of the funny thing about being a musician. You're often you have to help each other out, and we always do that in the ensemble. And then this one movement, it's about pain, suffering. I have to go to the F sharp, and it's like we talked about this, me and the conductor. Is this a literal pain? Is this more is it something that we're trying to express in the music, or is this really, because it is quite literal, going to the F sharp, that's very painful. It's a mixture of the electronic sound and the more classical sound. I think that's a very beautiful thing to do in all of life, to blend, to mix, and Else Marie Pade definitely had an intention of mixing things together here.